And could we also welcome on the stage the Deputy President of the Republic of South Africa, Deputy President Didi Mabuza. Please be seated. Please be seated. Your Excellency, President Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa, Chairperson of the 10th Brics Summit and President of the Republic of South Africa, Your Excellency, President Xi Jinping, President of the People's Republic of China, Your Excellency, Mr. Didi Mabuza, Deputy President of the Republic of South Africa, Your Excellency, Mr. Zong, Minister of Commerce of the People's Republic of China, Your Excellency, Mr. Orishkin, Minister of Trade and Industry of the Russian Federation. My name is Rob Davies. I'm the Minister of Trade and Industry of the Republic of South Africa, and I'm your Program Director this afternoon. It's my singular honor to welcome our esteemed heads of state and government to this important BRICS Business Forum. Tomorrow you will be receiving the consolidated report. All the heads of state will receive the consolidated report of the BRICS Business Council, which reflects the work that's been done on BRICS cooperation at the business level over the past year. My task at the moment is to give you a very brief summary of what transpired today in the BRICS Business Forum before inviting Your Excellencies to address this particular, what's called presidential slot in the program of the BRICS Business Forum. Let me then say that we started off with an interactive session with ministers and/or representatives of governments of our member states. And this began also with a reflection on what is it that we have achieved over the past 5 years in the area of cooperation around trade and investment relations. And some of the highlights of the achievements, I think, included the fact that we have, in addition to this engagement, which has been part of the BRICS architecture since the beginning, in addition to that, we have established the BRICS Business Council as an institution that promotes intra-business cooperation on a continuous basis throughout the year. In addition to that, we think that the formalization of the outreach programs, whereby we engage with other countries from the regions surrounding the host of the BRICS Summit each year, is another achievement. And then we have developed, I think, a number of additional sectoral engagements which are relevant in different parts of our cooperation program. But in the area of trade and investment relations, I think the two that stand out are that we now have regular meetings of industry ministers as well as now of small business ministers. And these achievements, we think, are a significant step towards deepening our cooperation in this area. We reflected on the meaning and significance of the current challenges in the global trading environment. And here, I think we reached the conclusion that the circumstances that we are confronting require us to deepen our cooperation as a defense against trends towards multilateralism and towards undermining the multilateral rules-based trading system, which all of us consider to be an important part of the trade architecture that we need to defend. We noted that intra-BRICS investment remains a relatively small part of total BRICS investment. In fact, the figure that we became aware of is it's about 6% of total BRICS foreign investment. And this, we think, points to the need to strengthen investment relations, building even on other initiatives of BRICS, such as the funding of projects through the New Development Bank. We reflected on how do we use an investment relationship to build on the objective that we all have of increasing intra-BRICS trade. And we said that we are not going to be able to simply expand intra-BRICS trade if it is structurally based on some of us are suppliers of primary products and others of us are suppliers of finished goods. That what we need to do is we need to work together to ensure that all of us are moving up value chains, all of us are becoming producers of more complex products, and that we move into the space which is in fact the biggest and growing part of international trade, trade in intermediate products. And from this, I think that some of us were putting forward a phrase that we need to be supporting investment-led trade, investment that will build productive capacity and lay a more sustainable basis for an increase of mutually beneficial trade. Then the deliberations moved into the business-to-business section, and here there were discussions in a number of work groups. The first of these was focusing on investment and industrialization, and here the discussion tended to focus on specific projects and specific ideas for deepening levels of beneficiation of products that are traded among us. And two, I think, specific examples were mentioned. One was in diamonds and the opportunity for adding value to diamonds that are produced before being exported. And the other one was in the area of citrus fruit. Those two were identified. So I think that what is being looked at project level is the identification of ways we can work together to add value to different products. There was a discussion also of BRICS countries' roles on the African continent. And here the point was made that we are all involved in the African continent in one way or another, and often we are directly competing with each other. And the sense that came out of the discussion was that there is also a possibility for us to enhance and increase the impact of our role on the African continent if we find the complementarities that can enable us to work together more effectively. One example that was mentioned was gas beneficiation projects drawing on the and that was that we need to disrupt in order to accelerate growth. Specifically, I think that there was a sense that we need to find again the complementarities and to enhance our cooperation, including in areas of skills development, education and training for the fourth industrial revolution, the rollout of electronic commerce, and that if we worked in a way actively to promote inclusivity, the technologies of the fourth industrial revolution could be a significant catalyst to growth and advanced manufacturing. And the sense was that some of us at least are well poised to quickly make the transition from the third to the fourth industrial revolution. Issues of digital literacy and digital connectivity were also raised. Your Excellencies, that's a very brief summary of what I think were a number of rich discussions. We also emphasized the need for practical cooperation at project-to-project level, because investment in the end of the day depends on business people coming together, identifying opportunities and working to make those opportunities a reality. With that brief report, it's now my pleasure and honour to invite President Ramaphosa to address the Business Forum. President Ramaphosa, the floor is yours.
Program Director, Minister Davies, President Xi Jinping, the President of the People's Republic of China, President Esuzimba Knasimbe, President of Togo, former Prime Minister of Egypt, Mr. Ismail, Deputy President David Mabuza, Deputy President of the Republic of South Africa, Honourable Ministers and Deputy Ministers, and Chairperson of the Brics Business Council, business leaders who are all gathered here, distinguished guests, and ladies and gentlemen, it does indeed give me a great deal of pleasure to welcome you all to the BRICS Business Forum, and in a way to really endorse the welcome that you have already received from our colleagues here. This Business Forum has become an important and vital platform for the development of economic cooperation between the BRICS member countries. We welcome you to our shores and to our country just a week after the world marked the centenary of the birth of the father of our democracy and a global icon, President Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela. We invoke his name here because the work we are here to do requires us to build on the foundations that Nelson Mandela laid for the advancement of democracy, world peace, human solidarity, international cooperation, and mutual respect. And in many ways, many of us feel like we are carrying on the work that he started. This year also marks a decade of BRICS collaboration, during which we have successfully shaped an ambitious agenda for the development that requires the great potential our countries possess for collective action. Intra-BRICS cooperation has been gaining momentum and meaning in areas such as finance, agriculture, trade, combating transnational crime, science and technology, health, education, security, and academic dialogue. One of the most important achievements, and there have been many, many achievements that we can talk about as the BRICS family, has been in the first decade of BRICS, was the establishment of the new development bank, which fills a critical gap in project funding. But the establishment of this BRICS Business Council, as Minister Davies has said, has also been an outstanding achievement. To be able to get so many business people from all the BRICS countries, including some outreach countries that we invite to the Brics Summit, is quite phenomenal. And for this, we count it as an outstanding achievement. And indeed, the other important achievement which Minister Davis also highlights is to have set up a forum of a number of countries that we call outreach countries that are part of the Brics Summit. And this year, these will also be accompanied by a number of countries in our own region who will be participating in the outreach activities. This also is an important achievement. The sectoral engagements that the Brics Summit offers us and which the Brics Business Council has been able to take forward are also something that we appreciate because they are able to get people to engage and talk about things that really matter in the lives of our people. Since its formation, just talking about the bank has dispersed loans totaling $5.1 billion with approvals amounting to $1.7 billion this year alone. As we enter the second decade of BRICS cooperation, we are determined to expand the bank's role in economic and social development. We are meeting here, ladies and gentlemen, at a time when the multilateral trading system is facing unprecedented challenges. We are concerned by the rise in unilateral measures that are incompatible with World Trade Organization rules, and we are worried about the impact of these measures, especially as they impact developing countries and economies. These developments call for thorough discussion on the role of trade in growing and in promoting sustainable development, particularly inclusive growth. The BRICS countries are increasingly recognized as an influential formation in reinforcing principles of transparency, inclusiveness, and compatibility within the multilateral trading system. There is also much scope to expand the value of trade between BRICS countries themselves. As a country that is primarily an exporter of commodities to its BRICS partners, South Africa supports a shift towards complementary value-added trade. Linked to the trade agenda, we need to increase investment between BRICS countries, particularly in the productive sectors of our economies. We also require a strategic roadmap regarding the opportunities presented by the Fourth Industrial Revolution and the measures required to mitigate its very disruptive effect on industry. I am pleased that these are some of the areas under discussion in this business forum. I look forward to the concrete proposals and the wisdom that will come from your deliberations. These should then be presented to the summit for consideration. Equally important are your deliberations on the BRICS Africa cooperation. As South Africa, we are determined that our engagements within BRICS and other multilateral platforms should advance the integration and development of the African continent. There is great potential for investment in Africa. In the past decade, Africa has grown at a rate of 2 to 3% points faster than the global GDP, with regional growth predicted to remain stable above 5% in 2018. This growth will be supported by increasing foreign direct investment flows, public investment in infrastructure, and higher agricultural production. In addition to this, Africa's working age population is expected to double to 1 billion people in the next 25 years. More opportunities are also going to be presented by the agreement to establish the African Continental Free Trade Area, which provides access to a market of well over 1 billion people and a combined GDP of $3 trillion US dollars. The value of this free trade area will only be fully realized through massive investment in infrastructure and skills development. And therein lies great opportunities for businesses to participate, because this presents opportunities for BRICS countries, some of whom have extensive experience in infrastructure development and are world leaders in education as well as in skills development. Distinguished guests, this business forum provides a platform to also harness the benefits of globalization and to also confront the challenges it presents, all within an ever-changing global political economy. As South Africa, we have acknowledged that to effectively deal with some of the key challenges that we face, they being poverty, unemployment, and inequality, we need to significantly increase the level of investment in our economy to lift growth as well as to create jobs for the many people in our country who are unemployed. We have embarked to address this on an investment drive that has taken us to meet with investors in various parts of the world, which will culminate in an investment conference which we will hold later this year. We are seeking, as we do this, to reinforce the strong bonds that we developed with our BRICS partners by expanding investment in our country. We are building on the vast investment potential that South Africa possesses. Our partners in BRICS are familiar with our world-class transport and telecommunication infrastructure. They are also well aware and are well versed with a supportive operating environment that we have in South Africa, as well as a very sophisticated financial and banking system. We have been steadily improving the ease of doing business in our country, providing dedicated support to investors through an entity we set up called Invest SA, and developing an attractive package of incentives. We are also working to diversify our economy on an ongoing basis. A wide range of investment opportunities are available in such areas as renewable energy, recycling, biofuels, water infrastructure, energy, mining and minerals beneficiation, agriculture and agro-processing, aquaculture, tourism, shipbuilding and repairs, business process outsourcing, advanced manufacturing, fuel cell production, aerospace, as well as defense. South Africa is determined to derive greater value from its abundant natural resources and to steadily advance up the value chain into knowledge-based sectors of the economy. We are embracing new technologies as we move ahead to diversify our economy, and approaches that are merging the physical and digital and biological worlds are also being exploited. We are committed to walking this path together with our BRICS partners. It is therefore imperative that we collectively navigate the risks, and leverage the opportunities that arise from this new digital age that has arrived. There is much we can do together to develop appropriate regulatory frameworks, infrastructure, and skills to support and enable the fourth industrial revolution. Our task is to give practical expression to an economic partnership that will catapult the industrialization of our respective economies beyond the digital age. While trade amongst BRICS partners has expanded exponentially over the last 10 years, we need to advance to a new level of industrial cooperation. Addressing the demands of both the present and the future requires the same unity of purpose that brought BRICS into existence and which has sustained it over the last decade. We look to you, our distinguished business community, to be at the center of our collective efforts to forge a new economic path. We look to you to be ready to realize the vast potential that exists for investment and trade, because we would like you to be our partners in building inclusive economies that create shared prosperity for all the people in the BRICS countries. With this, I wish you every success in your deliberations, more particularly as you come up with solutions, proposals that you will put forward to the summit so that the BRICS leaders will consider your proposals and take effective decisions that will be able to propel our countries forward. I thank you for being here, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed for those very cogent and inspiring remarks, Mr. President. It's now my pleasure to invite His Excellency President Xi Jinping of the People's Republic of China to address the Business Forum.
Your Excellency President Ramaphosa, Your Excellency Faure, President of Togo, Your Excellency Vice President Mabuza, Ministers, friends from the business community, ladies and gentlemen, friends, good afternoon. I am delighted to visit South Africa, the Rainbow Nation, once again, and meet you here in the beautiful city of Johannesburg. 5 years ago, I took office as the Chinese president, and the first international summit I attended was the 5th Brics Summit held in Durban. And 3 years ago, right here in this convention center, together with African leaders, I attended the FOCAG Johannesburg Summit. Well, 3 years on, I once again set foot on the African continent, and I was greatly struck by the robust growth and strong vitality of this piece of land. In September 2017, thanks to the strong support of all participating parties, China successfully hosted the Brics Summit. We as BRICS leaders agreed unanimously to strengthen our strategic partnership, consolidate the cooperation architecture with its three main drivers, namely economic cooperation, political and security cooperation, and people-to-people exchanges. We thus laid out a vision of BRICS plus cooperation, and we jointly ushered in the second golden decade of BRICS cooperation. I understand that in the Nguni language, Johannesburg means the place of gold. In this sense, we just cannot find a better place to chart the course for our golden decade than in this city of gold. Here in Johannesburg, I look forward to working with other BRICS leaders to embark on a new journey of BRICS cooperation and fulfill our new mission. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, the BRICS mechanism owes its birth and growth to the evolution of the global economy and the changing international landscape. The first decade saw BRICS cooperation getting off the ground and bearing rich fruit. Our 5 BRICS countries, guided by the BRICS spirit of openness, inclusiveness, and win-win cooperation, have deepened our collaboration, enhanced our solidarity and mutual trust, improved the lives of our peoples, and made our bond of interest and friendship even closer. It is fair to say that our cooperation has contributed much to the global economic recovery and growth. Today, we are witnessing major changes unfolding in our world, something unseen in a century. For us emerging markets and developing countries, this is a world of both opportunities and challenges. We should put the pursuit of BRICS cooperation in the historical process of global transformation, and we should put the development of our own countries in the historical course of promoting common development of BRICS countries and other countries in the world, thus making new advances in the next golden decade. The next decade will be a crucial one in which new global growth drivers will take the place of old ones. A new round of revolution and transformation in science, technology, and industries, featuring artificial intelligence, big data, quantum information, and biotechnology, are gaining momentum. They are giving birth to a large number of new industries and business forms and models, and they will fundamentally change global development and people's work and lives. We must seize this important opportunity to enable emerging markets and developing countries to achieve leapfrog development. The next decade will see faster changes in the international landscape and the international alignment of forces. Emerging markets and developing countries already contribute 80% of global economic growth. Based on exchange rate calculation, these countries account for nearly 40% of the global economic output. Growing at the current rate, these countries will see their economic output approach half of the global total in a decade. The collective rise of emerging markets and developing countries is unstoppable. and will make global development more balanced, and it will make global peace more firmly based. The next decade will see a profound reshaping of the global governance system. The world is moving toward multipolarity and greater economic globalization amid setbacks. Geopolitical hotspots keep emerging, and the dark shadow of terrorism and armed conflict still haunts us. Unilateralism and protectionism are mounting, dealing a severe blow to multilateralism and the multilateral trading regime. We are facing a choice between cooperation and confrontation, between opening up and closed-door policy, and between mutual benefit and a beggar-thy-neighbor approach. The international community has again reached a new crossroads. The evolution of global governance system will have a profound impact on the development of all countries, particularly emerging markets and developing countries, and indeed on the prosperity and stability of the whole world. We BRICS countries should keep abreast of the historical trend, seize development opportunities, jointly meet challenges, and play a constructive role in building a new type of international relations and a community with a shared future for mankind. First, we should pursue win-win cooperation to build an open economy. Openness and cooperation, they are the sure way to achieve progress in science and technology and growth of productivity. A trade war should be rejected because there will be no winner. Economic hegemony is even more objectionable, because it will undermine the collective interest of the international community. Those who pursue this course will only end up hurting themselves. As the world economy is going through profound transition and changes, only by opening themselves can different countries achieve mutual benefit, share prosperity, and sustainable development. This should be the right choice for all countries. We BRICS countries should firmly promote an open global economy. We should be resolute in rejecting unilateralism and protectionism, promote trade and investment liberalization and facilitation, and jointly steer the global economy toward greater openness, greater inclusiveness, balanced growth, and win-win outcomes for all. We should ensure that economic globalization would deliver more benefits. We should help emerging markets and developing countries, African countries, and the least developed countries in particular, to fully involve themselves in international division of labor and share in the benefits of globalization. Second, we should pursue innovation and seize development opportunities. Science and technology are the primary production forces, and they have provided inexhaustible power driving the progress of human civilization. Humanity has made giant leaps forward as it progressed from an agricultural civilization to an industrial civilization, a process which created both huge gains in social productivity and growing pains. The world today has once again reached a critical historic juncture. In the unfolding new round of scientific and technological revolution and industrial transformation, new things will inevitably emerge and take the place of old ones. Indeed, this will be a difficult and painful process. But if countries succeed in seizing opportunities that have presented themselves, they will be able to achieve new dynamic growth and deliver better lives to the people. In the face of new opportunities brought by new science and technology, every country has an equal right to development. Those who fail to keep abreast of the trend of the times will fall behind and become irrelevant. What we can and should do is to seize opportunities, increase input in innovation, focus on new areas of growth, and replace old drivers with new ones. We should endeavor to advance structural reform, remove all institutional barriers to innovation, and fully unlock innovation potential and energize the market. We should develop a global perspective, boost international exchanges and cooperation in innovation, fully leverage each other's comparative strengths and resource endowment so as to enable more countries and people to benefit from scientific and technological advances. At the same time, we should ease the impact of application of information technology, automation, and smart technology on traditional industries. And we should create new job opportunities in the process of fostering new industries. Third, we should pursue inclusive growth to deliver benefits to people of all countries. Uneven and insufficient development is a common challenge facing all countries. There is a gap between developed countries and emerging markets and developing countries, i.e. the North-South gap remains huge. And there are also development gaps of varying degrees within countries. The 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development provides a comprehensive action plan for the international community. We BRICS countries should, basing ourselves on our actual national conditions, follow the guidance of the 2030 Agenda as we pursue our own development strategies. We should put people first, ensure coordinated economic and social development, and protect the environment, thus giving our people a stronger sense of fulfillment and happiness. We should ensure harmony between man and nature and encourage the international community to fully implement the Paris Agreement. We should treat nature with awe and do more to foster an ecological system conducive to green development. It is necessary to promote international development cooperation, urge developed countries to fulfill their promises on official development assistance, and urge them to increase support to developing countries. Africa is home to more developing countries than any other continent. And Africa has more development potential than any other region in the world. We should strengthen cooperation with Africa, support its development, and make BRICS Africa cooperation a model for South-South cooperation. We should actively carry out cooperation with African countries in such areas as poverty reduction, food security, innovation, infrastructure development, and industrialization in a way compatible with their national conditions. We should help African countries develop their economic structure contribute to the implementation of Agenda 2063 of the African Union, and thus enable Africa, an ancient continent, to gain strong vitality. Fourth, we should uphold multilateralism and improve global governance. An enabling and stable external environment is crucial for the development of all countries, especially emerging markets and developing countries. Obviously, the current international order is not a perfect one. But as long as it is rule-based, aims to be equitable, and pursues win-win outcomes as its goal, such an international order should not be discarded as one pleases, still less should it be dismantled and restructured. We BRICS countries must uphold multilateralism. We should urge all parties to fully observe collectively adopted international rules, and we should treat all countries as equals, regardless of their size, address issues that matter to all through consultation, and oppose hegemony and power politics. We should promote common, comprehensive, cooperative, and sustainable security, get actively involved in mediation efforts for resolving geopolitical hotspot issues. It is important for us to firmly support the multilateral trading regime, advance global economic governance reform, and increase the representation and voice of emerging markets and developing countries. When new rules are made on such issues as innovation, trade and investment, and intellectual property protection, or on new frontiers, including cyberspace, outer space, or the polar regions, we should make sure that the views of emerging markets and developing countries are heeded, their interests and demands are taken into consideration, and there are sufficient opportunities for their development. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, this year marks the 40th anniversary of China's reform and opening up. Success only comes through hard work. During the past 40 years, China has come a long way. With strenuous efforts, China has blazed the path of building socialism with distinctive Chinese features. Proceeding from China's realities and developing a global vision, we in China have both drawn strengths from the wisdom of the time-honored Chinese civilization and learned from other countries, both East and West. We have embraced the world and integrated our country fully into it. While pursuing its own development, China has made its own important contribution to the peace and development of mankind. As the world's biggest developing country, China will ride the trend of the times and pursue innovation-driven, coordinated, green and open development for all. We will step up efforts to pursue innovation-driven development and fully engage in international cooperation on innovation and technologies. We will take an active part in South-South cooperation to foster greater opportunities for common development of emerging markets and developing countries. China will continue to develop itself with its door wide open. At the annual conference of the Boao Forum for Asia, held last April, I announced a number of new initiatives to open China further, and these initiatives are being speedily pursued. China will build a more investment-friendly environment that is aligned with international standards, more transparent and law-based, and encourages competition and opposes monopoly. China will take tough law enforcement steps to strengthen protection of intellectual property rights, to make infringement even more costly. We encourage companies to maintain normal technological exchanges and will see to it that their lawful intellectual property rights are protected. China will also increase imports to promote balance of payment on the current account. China will host the first China International Import Expo in Shanghai this November. A major move to firmly support trade liberalization and open its market. The expo will serve as a new platform for the world to access the Chinese market. By now, over 130 countries and regions and more than 2,800 companies have confirmed participation, and over 150,000 buyers in and outside China are expected to attend this fair. I welcome business leaders from other BRICS and African countries to attend the expo. China will continue to vigorously pursue the Belt and Road Initiative to create new opportunities of social and economic development for participating countries and for them to implement the UN 2030 Agenda. The Belt and Road Initiative, guided by the principle of seeking shared benefits through extensive consultation and joint contribution, originated in China but belongs to the world. It is our sincere hope that other BRICS countries, African countries, and other emerging markets and developing countries will forge strong partnerships with this initiative so that its benefits will reach more countries and their peoples. China and African countries are destined to be good friends, good brothers and good partners. And China-Africa cooperation stands as a fine example of South-South cooperation. This coming September will see a reunion of China and African countries at the summit of the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation in Beijing. Themed on China and Africa toward an even stronger community with a shared future through win-win cooperation, the Beijing Summit aims to enhance complementarity between China-Africa efforts to pursue the Belt and Road Initiative, the 2030 Agenda and the 2063 Agenda on the one hand, and the development strategies of African countries on the other. This will enable China and Africa to pursue high-quality and high-standard cooperation for mutual benefit and common development. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, business cooperation is the most important and fruitful aspect of BRICS cooperation. Thanks to our joint efforts, new advances have been made in this cooperation this year. We BRICS countries will forge a partnership on the new industrial revolution, which involves more coordination of macroeconomic policies, closer cooperation on innovation and industrialization, and joint efforts to accelerate economic upgrading and the replacement of growth drivers. Our 5 BRICS countries have also made good progress in cooperation on trade facilitation, service trade, e-commerce, intellectual property rights, and in other fields. These steps will enable us to seize opportunities and meet challenges in a changing world and enrich the BRICS economic partnership strategy. The business community is the mainstay of BRICS economic cooperation and a dynamic force driving it. As business leaders, you have a great role to play in shaping the second golden decade of BRICS cooperation. I hope that you will fully leverage your strengths to enhance win-win cooperation for common development between our 5 countries. As business leaders, you should take bold steps to explore new ground in pursuing reform and innovation, and working together, you can surely open up new horizons for the development of our 5 countries and other emerging markets and developing countries. I also hope you will keep in mind the needs of the people and pursue both economic and social returns so as to increase public support for BRICS cooperation. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, this year marks the centenary of the birth of Nelson Mandela. Let me quote one of his famous sayings. After climbing a great hill, one only finds that there are many more hills to climb. Indeed, the history of BRICS cooperation is a journey of our 5 countries climbing great hills only to reach new heights. I am convinced that when our 5 countries forge ahead together, we will scale new peaks, reach new heights, and we will be able to make even greater contribution to peace and development of mankind. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much indeed for those very comprehensive but also very visionary remarks, President Xi Jinping. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we still have 2 items on the agenda for this session, but I have been informed that our 2 heads of state need to leave us at this point. So if we could all plan to remain, but if we can just stand and allow the 2 heads of state to leave us now. Thank you very much.